Which question do you want me
Sorry, can I read that?
So, how did Milton Hershey change people's lives because of his actions?
Well, he did a great deal for not only the community of Hershey, but all the students who have been enrolled in the Milton Hershey School. So the students who've been enrolled in the Milton Hershey School have had access to educational opportunities and vocational opportunities that they might not have had previously. But the community of Hershey, of course, was built by Milton Hershey. Before him, there was a town called Dairy Church. And so all of the industry and the community of Hershey is all in part due to Milton Hershey's actions.
Were any schools inspired by Milton Hershey School?
I haven't heard of any directly being inspired by Milton Hershey School. Of course, you know that, I can tell from your research that you know he was inspired by Girard. Mm-hmm. And so he really modeled his school, the Hershey Industrial School, now the Milton Hershey School. He modeled that on Girard's Trust and the Girard School.
What was Milton Hershey's educational vision?
It's hard to say. I think that Milton Hershey had a very disjointed childhood. He moved around a lot with his parents, and his education, although he stayed in school until the age of 14, which was common at that time, and then he left when he was 14 to start an apprenticeship. Because they moved so much, he did not get a continuous education. And so what we see in his actions is that he really wanted to establish a sort of continual education for students and in a home environment, a stable home environment. You know what he did for the Milton Hershey School. In the community of Hershey, what he did was he consolidated all of the one-room schoolhouses into one central building, and also contributed to, as the community grew, he built elementary schools and high schools for the community, and also provided free college education, 2 years of free college education through the Hershey Junior College.
Did Milton Hershey go through any articles or documents for inspiration?
Well, he had individuals that he worked with that helped him draft those documents. He had a particular lawyer named John Snyder, and John Snyder really was instrumental in helping him draft the deed of gift.
How was Milton Hershey a leader in education?
So leader in education, Milton Hershey is a leader in education because he has provided children throughout Pennsylvania and throughout the United States with access to a high quality education that they otherwise might not have been able to achieve. And he's also provided the community of Hershey with outstanding public schools and allowed children within this community to also advance.
Was Catherine Hershey one of his inspirations for the Milton Hershey School?
He always said that the school was Catherine's idea. He always gave her credit for it. But whatever sort of personal conversations happened between the two of them, we don't know.
Did Milton Hershey even plan for the Hershey Medical Center?
He did not, although medical care was always a priority of his. Hershey had a hospital as early as the 1920s, and then throughout, as the community grew, they built additional hospitals, additional facilities. So medical care, access to medical care, was always very important to Milton Hershey, and providing that to the community.
Who did he inspire them? Who did Milton Hershey inspire because of the school?
Well, I think a lot of people can learn from his actions. What he really has, Milton Hershey has really done is he's really engendered a spirit of philanthropy within the Hershey community. The Hershey community itself is very philanthropic, very volunteer-oriented. There's a lot of community organizations that work with youth, and the Hershey Company, the chocolate company, and Hershey Entertainment Resorts Company, the entertainment company, they do provide a lot of funding for youth activities in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Why did Pennsylvania, out of all states, committed to improve children's education?
That I don't know the answer to.
Because I researched in some other websites, like, because there's some document on Pennsylvania or something in 1783, like they wanted more education in Pennsylvania or something.
That might go back to William Penn and William Penn's doctrine, but I can't really speak to that.
Did Milton Hershey get all his inspiration from Girard or in Peabody, or were there others?
Well, we know that the deed of trust was modeled on Girard's deed of trust. However, because Milton Hershey was such a private individual and he did not leave a written record, we cannot know his exact inspirations.
Like, was Peabody one of his inspiration? Because I feel like his trust fund, Hershey's trust fund, is based on Peabody's trust.
It's more closely aligned to Girard's.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Milton Hershey focus on one social problem?
He did not just focus on one social problem. Education is a huge concern of his, but Milton Hershey was part of a movement called the Progressive Movement, and what they really wanted to focus on was better living conditions for individuals. And so that included, when he's founding the town of Hershey, that includes having the medical care that we talked about, recreational facilities for people, the educational aspect, and also access to affordable housing. What Hershey did not do, like other industrial towns, is he encouraged people to own their own homes and build their own homes. And he offered low-rate mortgages to the Hershey Trust Company in order to enable people to do that.
But didn't he make all like houses for the employees of Hershey Company, or did they have to build it on their own?
He did not provide housing, no.
Oh, so they had to build it on their own?
They built it on their own, or they rented it with the idea that they would be able to purchase it. He did not have many communities like Pullman. They owned the homes, and you paid rent to the company. That really was not the practice in Hershey, Pennsylvania. He wanted people to own their own homes.
Oh, so they had to build their own homes and so would they provide like water and all that?
The town provides water and paves the streets and things like that, but either you built your own home or you purchased a home that had been built.
Oh. So what was Milton Hershey's educational legacy?
His greatest educational legacy is the Milton Hershey School.
Like the students that go in there or something?
Well, it's just a phenomenal school that what it provides for students all across the United States, because it is open to students from across the United States and giving them an opportunity to better their lives and take what they've learned and the opportunities that they've been granted and take that back to their communities, to wherever they're from or wherever they would like to go, and really support the communities that they end up in.
Was there some sort of influence of why Milton Hershey wanted to spend money on the school? Like, he spent most of his money on the school.
He did. He transferred his wealth to the Milton Hershey School, then the Hershey Industrial School, in 1918, which is about 25 years prior to his death. So we don't know exactly why he chose to do that. We just know that when he spoke about Hershey, the community of Hershey, and what he wanted to exist after his death, he always said that he would like the Milton Hershey School to exist in perpetuity.
Didn't he reveal that in a 1923 interview or something? Like he revealed it in a New York Times interview in 1923.
What happened was he made the gift in 1918, and we're not sure why the story broke in 1923, but it was, you're right, many years later that the New York Times learned of the gift, and then he did provide an interview, yes.
What legacy did Catherine Hershey and Milton Hershey want to leave, and why?
Well, I think it's the legacies that we've talked about of providing people with opportunities for advancement and opportunities to live comfortable, successful lives.
What are the similarities and differences between Gerard and Hershey?
That I can't speak to. I haven't really examined Gerard.
Was Milton Hershey's school related to Rosenwald's schools? Like, because it's almost the same time period too. So.
That I don't know.
So what documents did he go through? Like, is it like any documents specifically or something?
I think really he left it in the hands of his lawyer, John Snyder. And John Snyder was an accomplished lawyer from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and who later relocated to Hershey. So Milton Hershey probably asked John Snyder to look into this for him, and John Snyder went and did the research on similar trusts that had been established in this manner.
Yeah, that's all the questions I have.
Okay.